Brandine, the talking box is on.
Greasy Italians might not be able to buy Chrysler, Slim Jim's being hoarded, and your cousin doesn't like girls. Now the news, or bus style. That's it, folks. The end of capitalism. It's all come to this, folks. Badered. A smackdown harsher than Hulk Hogan versus the Macho Man a decade ago, the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsberg said suck it to the pending deal for Fiat to buy Chrysler. Indiana State Pension Fund successfully argued that their $42 million loan given to Chrysler would be paid back in Italian sass and sleaze instead of cold hard cash, forcing the Fiat-Chrysler merger to be delayed. Ginsburg's thrashing, in the face of White House eagerness to rid America of all industry, opens the doors for the entire Supreme Court to hear the case. Don't delay, though. Chrysler is said to be losing $100 million a day. 789 dealerships have already been voided, and 8 plants are scheduled to be shuttered. Creepy Mothers. A true story from the almost on-site coverage of Or Bust. I was looking for a swell place to camp this weekend, and a friend of mine said Washington County. That's in Oregon, a little east of here, Portland. He said so because of the primitive attitudes, not the surroundings. Little did we know how primitive the people were. Instead, I went to Stubbs Stewart State Park, which is a brand new state park here in Oregon, which is a very bizarre thing. Basically looks very Roman, an entire hilltop charred, slashed, burned, opened up. But the only vacant camping sites were handicapped. How many handicapped people do you see go camping? I mean, it's nice for them to be allowed, but really, camping sites everywhere? Anyway, I skipped Washington County, thankfully so, because on Friday, Karina Roberts was arrested for coaxing 21-year-old and very, very pregnant Heather Snively over to her house with the promise of exchanging baby clothes. Then using blunt force trauma and, quote, sharp force injuries, end quote, to murder the mom-to-be. Then stealing her newborn, which later died. Check out the perp pic of Roberts. Sometimes you just know somebody's guilty. Roberts isn't very smart. She called the paramedics about a newborn in distress, and when they arrived, this tipped off authorities to go and find Snively's body hidden underneath the house. A few notes of wonder. Roberts had told neighbors she was going to have a baby, a sure sign of premeditated murder. And she already had 2 kids, but felt the need to coax a woman over there, murder her, and steal her baby. Nice. More shocking news and our distraction. Hoard Slim Jims. All is not well at 4851 Jones Sausage Road in Garner, North Carolina. The roof of the plant where Slim Jims are made collapsed on Tuesday. Several employees are missing, a dozen injured, and ConAgra Foods has yet to give a status of our favorite protein, saturated in sodium and fat. Even more shocking news. 10 banks are paying back some $68 billion in TARP funds that they received from the bailout, led by JP Morgan, who totally needed that quick cash. Thanks, man. And other banks that charge you every time you wonder how much money you have with them. Even more shocking news. Actor Jon Voight called President Obama a, quote, false prophet, end quote. The White House responded by citing Voight's acting work since Deliverance, then flashed pictures of Voight's daughter, Angelina Jolie, specifically her lips and chest. No further commentary was necessary. The GOP is so confused that they are now trying to run Sarah Palin, Newt Gingrich, and Mitt Romney for president in 2012. No VPs, only chief execs. Once Obama thrashes all of them, the grand old party will finally read a census and close up shop forever. What is a journalist? Confirming the, quote, grave crime they committed against the Korean nation and their illegal border crossing, end quote. North Korea sentenced Yoona Lee and Laura Ling to 12 years in a labor camp. This proves two things. Don't work for current TV, or Al Gore for that matter, and don't sneak into a known dictatorship looking for good scoops. Fret not, Laura Ling's sister Lisa is supposedly some Hollywood starlet, so she'll probably be released soon, get a book deal, and become even more famous. Meanwhile, her fellow journalist pal, Yoona Lee, will learn to praise our dear leader Kim Jong-il and his very capable sons. Farewell Roe v. Wade and Grasshopper. A new strategy for pro-lifers to end all abortions. After George Tiller, the doctor, was shot to death in his own church in Wichita, Kansas last week by someone who holds every life as so precious. The late doctor's Women's Health Care Services, Inc., equally an abortion clinic, will be closed permanently. Let us all bow our heads in prayer for that story, and also for Grasshopper. David Carradine, the finest actor to force his less talented sons on us since John Voight, Martin Sheen, George H.W. Bush, etc. Grasshopper, life is pain. After being found in a suite, quote, naked, hanging in a closet, end quote, and dead at the age of 72, David Carradine lives on. His family is now hiring private detectives to prove that he, quote, couldn't have killed himself, end quote. Reports from officials have surveillance tapes showing no one entering or leaving Kill Bill's suite in Bangkok, and that the autopsy showed signs of autoerotic asphyxiation. Tough word to say, but don't you remember the lead singer of INXS? No family should ever have to suffer through this. Sleep well, Grasshopper, and sleep yourselves. That's the news, folks. See you next week. Next up on News or Bust, impressive training and loyalty, or dangerous dependence on balls.